Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave, and today I'm going to give you an introduction to deck building. Deck building is a type of game that I really like. Dirk likes as well. GI Joe is a game that we feature on this channel, which is a deck building game. I'm going to use Star Realms here as an example because it doesn't take up there's as much room as some of these other games. But some other examples would be Hero Realms, Marvel Legendary, Dominion. Dominion is kind of a little different than some of the others, is because you'll have all the kingdom cards laid out, and for the most part, the cards that are available to purchase will not change. It will be, you kind of know ahead of time. But with like Star Realms and Clank and these kind of games, you have a purchase row, which will change when you purchase a card. Each player starts with an identical deck or near identical deck, and you will improve your deck during the course of the game. So, without any further ado, I will start. I'm simulating a two-player game. So, in Star Realms specifically, you're going to draw 5 cards. So each player will draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there are 2 types of currency effectively in the game. So, and this is typical with a lot of deck builders, is usually there's something for purchasing cards and then something to do something else. So for this game, this is a competitive game, so you're actually doing damage to the other player. So that's what the Vipers here do. They do 1 point of damage. Um, and so we'll start with this player. So this player has 4 coins to purchase. So let's say I decide I want to purchase this card, which costs 3. So I'm spending 3 coins to purchase that card. I'll go in the discard pile. And then I have 1 coin left over, but I get to see what the next card is. I'm going to spend 1 coin. I'll purchase this card. And then I would do a point of damage to this player. Now, another thing with deck building is, let's say I chose not to attack for whatever reason. Even if you do not use a card, you still discard your entire hand and draw a new hand. So I'm going to discard that, and then I draw 5 more cards. And now it's this player's turn. So this player has 4 to spend as well. Let's say I get this card. For whatever reason, I don't want the 4 cost card. Flip it over, and there's another 1 cost card. So I spent 4, and I would do a point of damage, and then draw a new hand. And we basically go back and forth. Here's another 4-1. So I purchased this card, and that would end my turn, do a point of damage. I purchased this card, do a point of damage to the other player. Okay, now at the end of, well, what I should have done at the end of that player's turn is shuffle the deck. So now this is where the deck building comes into play, because I'm shuffling the deck. The cards that I've purchased are now part of the deck. So here we go. Perfect. So you could see 2 of the cards that I purchased are already available. So now this is where the crux of this specific game will come into play. So we draw a hand for this other player. Okay, so, and that's the other thing, is you draw your new hand at the end of your turn, because some games have reaction cards that might trigger. So I can play this trade bot here, which says 1 coin, you may scrap a card in your hand or discard pile. Now that's something that's critical with deck building, is these cards here are more powerful than your starting cards. And so you want to thin your deck of the starting cards. So I'm going to trash this card. So it goes in the scrap heap in this case. So this card does the exact same thing that this card does. It gives me a coin, but then it also lets me scrap a card from my hand or discard pile. So I get a coin for that. This one does 6 damage plus the ones. I'm going to do 7 damage to this opponent. And in this particular game, if you play another card with this symbol, then you get to do a combo. Marvel Legendary kind of does the same thing as well. But in this case, I have 2 coins to spin. I did 7 damage. There are no cards that cost 2, except for this Explorer here. So a lot of card games will have an always available card, which is what this one is. And it provides 2 coins. And then I could trash it to do 2 damage. So then it would be out of my deck. But if I add that, that goes into my discard pile. And then I draw a new hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that would be my hand for the next turn. Now this player has... So this is something unique to Star Realms, where you can have bases. And when a base comes out, people have to damage the base before they can attack the player. So this one will do, if I trash it, I'll do 5 damage. But this gives me 5 protection. I have a trade bot here, which will allow me to trash a card like the other player had. And so I would have 2 coins and only 1 fight because I'm not trashing the battle station. So for 2 coins, again, I don't really have anything, so I would buy this Explorer. Now this battle station, in this case, will stay out because it's a defense card. And then I draw 5 new cards. And then you would continue as normal throughout the game. So I'll do one more round and then call it. So this one here says Imperial Frigate. Says I do 4 damage. And the target opponent discards a card. So I do that. And so the other player decides they're going to discard a Viper. So now I only have 4 cards in my hand. I have to do 5 damage before I can do any damage to another player. So this, I've already got 4. So 1 more is 5. That's enough to take out the battle station. This player took no actual damage because they had the battle station. And then I have 3 coins here that I can spend to purchase that card. And then like all this goes in the discard pile. And then it would be this player's turn. And then you continue. In this game, particularly, you go until one person is out of hit points. Now, there's different twists to the game. Like Marvel Legendary, you have a hand of 6 cards, and it's a cooperative game. And the damage that you do, you're going to do against the villains and henchmen that are in the city. And then you've got recruit to purchase new cards in the headquarters. G.I. Joe, you have recruit, but those cards are double use because you can go on missions, which I'll do a how to play G.I. Joe game. But one of the differences is the card that you recruit goes on top of your deck, and then when you draw your new hand, the card you purchased is available for the next turn, which is kind of unique. So then I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. I would draw 5 cards. One of the cards being the card that I purchased. And so like in Star Realms, for example, when you saw when I purchased multiple cards, I got to see what the next card is. Games like Clank, I can purchase multiple cards, but I don't get to see, the row doesn't restock until the end of that player's turn. So if I had enough skill in that case to purchase things, and say I want to purchase this card and this card, I had 5 skill. I don't get to see what the other cards are, and then at the end of my turn, those new cards would be available for the other player. But that is a quick introduction to deck building, one of my favorite game types. So thank you for your attention. Please like and subscribe.